Most people think wealth is decided by income. Make more money, get rich. Make less money, stay behind. But that is not how it usually works. There are people with big paychecks who never build real wealth because every dollar is already promised to payments, debt, lifestyle, and old decisions. And there are people with average incomes who quietly become wealthy because they hit the right milestones in the right order. That is the part most people miss. Wealth does not usually grow in a smooth, perfect line. It grows in stages. First, you build safety. Then you build invested money. Then you remove debt. Then compounding starts to matter. And eventually, your money begins doing more of the work for you. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 money milestones that decide if you will be wealthy. Not because income does not matter, but because income only helps if you know what milestone it should be building next. And if you're tired of feeling like you are working hard but not really moving forward, subscribe to the channel. Every video here is designed to help you understand money, build real wealth, and create a future where your paycheck is no longer the only thing holding your life together. Milestone number 1, 6 months of expenses in cash. This sounds boring, but it is the foundation for everything else. 6 months of living expenses in accessible cash. Not invested, not locked in an account you cannot touch, not tied up in the market where it might be down when you need it. Cash you can reach quickly if life suddenly changes. Because an emergency fund is not just about money. It is about protecting your decisions from panic. When you do not have a cash buffer, every financial decision feels heavier. You may take the wrong job because rent is due. You may stay in a situation that is draining you because you cannot afford to leave. You may avoid investing because the idea of your money going down feels too risky when you barely have anything behind you. That is why this milestone matters. It gives you breathing room. It keeps a temporary problem from becoming long-term debt. A car repair does not automatically become a credit card balance. A slow month does not instantly become a crisis. A job problem does not force you to grab the first option available. The money may just sit there quietly, but the calm it gives you is powerful. It lets you think clearly when something goes wrong. It gives you enough stability to build the next milestones without constantly starting over. Because once you are no longer making decisions from panic, you can finally start making decisions from strategy. Milestone number 2, your first $10,000 invested. This is the milestone where investing starts to feel real, because saving and investing are not the same thing. Saving means money exists. Investing means money works. And until your money is actually invested in assets, it is not building the same kind of momentum. In the beginning, compounding can feel almost invisible. If you only have a few $100s invested, even a strong return may only show up as a small gain. It does not feel life-changing yet, so it is easy to wonder if it is even worth it. But once you reach your first $10,000 invested, something changes. The numbers start to feel more real. A good year can create growth you actually notice. Your brain starts to understand that money can make money without you trading more hours for it. That is a major shift. And this is where automation matters. Most people do not cross this milestone because they feel motivated every month. They cross it because the money moves before they have time to spend it. A fixed amount goes into the account, week after week, month after month, quietly, consistently, without needing a big emotional decision every time. And over time, that system gets you through the stage where progress feels slow. Because this milestone is not just about reaching $10,000. It changes how you see yourself. You are no longer just someone trying to save money. You are becoming an investor. And once that identity starts to build, the next milestones become much easier to chase. Milestone number 3, becoming debt-free outside your mortgage. This is the milestone where your paycheck starts to feel different. Because debt does not just slow you down mathematically, it creates pressure. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, personal loans, and other consumer debt all take a piece of your future income before you even receive it. That means part of your paycheck is already spoken for. And when money is constantly going to lenders, it cannot go toward assets. It cannot build your emergency fund faster. It cannot grow in investments. It cannot buy back your time. That is why becoming debt-free outside your mortgage is such a major turning point. It unlocks cash flow. The money that used to disappear into minimum payments, interest, and old decisions can now be redirected toward your future. The car payment can become an investment contribution. The credit card payment can become savings. The student loan payment can become money that finally stays under your control. And the emotional shift is just as important. When you are debt-free, your paycheck arrives with fewer claims against it. You have more room to breathe, more room to choose, and more power to build. That is not just a nice financial achievement. That is the moment your money stops cleaning up the past and starts building the future. Milestone number 4, reaching $100,000 in net worth. This is where the wealth machine starts to gain real momentum. The first $100,000 is usually the hardest because, in the beginning, you are doing most of the work. Your savings, your discipline, your extra payments, your controlled spending, your consistency. That is what drives most of the early growth. Compounding is there, but it does not feel powerful yet. Then you cross $100,000 and something starts to change. Your assets begin pulling more weight. A good market year becomes more noticeable. Your investments start helping in a way they could not when the balance was small. That is why this milestone matters so much. But it is also where many people fumble. They reach $100,000 and finally feel like they made it. So they upgrade the apartment. They buy the nicer car. They take the bigger vacation. And each decision feels reasonable because they feel wealthier than before. But this is the exact moment when holding the line matters most. If you can reach $100,000 and resist the urge to inflate your lifestyle, you give compounding more room to work. The money that got you there can keep moving. The habits that built the first 100,000 can now build the next one faster. Because after this point, wealth does not just grow from your effort. It starts growing from momentum. Milestone number 5. Your investments start covering your baseline life. This is the milestone where wealth turns into freedom. Because financial freedom is not just a net worth number. It is a ratio. It is the point where your investments, passive income, or portfolio can cover the life you actually need to live. And the key number is your baseline expenses. Not your dream lifestyle, not luxury travel, not every possible upgrade. Your baseline. Housing, food, utilities, insurance, transportation, and the basic costs that keep your life running. When you know that number, freedom becomes much clearer. Maybe some of it is covered by dividends. Maybe some comes from interest, rental income, business income, or portfolio withdrawals. However it happens, the goal is the same. Your assets begin covering your essential life. And here is the powerful part. Lower expenses make this milestone much easier to reach. If your baseline life costs less, your investments do not need to produce as much income. That means the freedom number gets smaller and the timeline gets shorter. This is why two people can earn very different incomes and retire at very different times. The person with the lower baseline may reach freedom first because their money has less work to do. So when your investments can cover your baseline expenses, work changes. You may still choose to work, but you are no longer working from the same pressure. You have options. And that is the real milestone. Not just being wealthy on paper, but having enough assets that your basic life no longer depends entirely on your paycheck. Wealth is not built by guessing. It is built by knowing your next milestone and moving toward it on purpose. Income can help, but income alone does not decide wealth. More money only matters if it is building the next milestone instead of becoming more spending. So look at your finances this week and ask one question. Which milestone am I working toward right now? Once you know that, your next step becomes clearer. If this helped, subscribe to the channel for more videos that help you build real wealth and create more financial freedom. And let me know in the comments, which milestone are you working toward right now? And if you want to keep going, watch the next video on how quiet wealth is built without anyone noticing.